Okay, so you've also in 2.5 years, you recruited over 400 agents, which is wildly impressive. How do you do that?
When I got started, the weird thing, Cody, is I failed my test 6 times.
Wow.
And in the process of failing my test, the day that I got my license, I hit the top rank in my company, Experior, because I had built an agency already. I had 50 people in my agency the day I got my license.
Wow.
So it was crazy because everybody was like, how the hell did he get to the top of the ladder and he just got his license? Well, because I was building. And that's what I show people how to do. I show, even today, one of the things that I really stand firm on is that I'm showing agents, top producers, how to build an agency.
Yes.
Because, top producers like to produce, they like to write. But a lot of producers, I realize they can't recruit.
Mm.
And if you can show somebody how to become a hybrid in this post-COVID climate, man, they're down like 4 flat tires. They're really like, well, shit, well, show me.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. Today we got a special guest. I'm excited to interview this person, man, because as I'm thinking about like everything that's going on right now, we are literally 2 weeks out from Apers Nation 2023, which I'm so freaking excited about. And I know this gentleman is as well, from Washington, D.C. What's really cool, you guys will love listening to his story. He actually recruited one of the best interviews we've ever had on this channel, by the way. It was Raza Beg. Got a ton of comments, ton of feedback. He's actually the cat that has recruited Raza Beg and works with him and their buddies, which is amazing. So welcome to the channel and the podcast, Jacques Vaughan. What is up, Jacques?
Hey, man. Pleasure to be here. First, I want to say thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to interview interview me. We chop it up a little bit, so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, buddy. Appreciate you being here. You're doing some big stuff, man. When I find some real players that are doing something big, I like to really kind of like more than just pick their brain, but like understand what's going on, what makes them tick, how they became successful, who they are. Because dude, there's so many agents. There's a million agents like that wish they could just wake up and be you one day. Right?
I would. I don't know about that, but thanks for stroking my ego.
What do you think? I mean, okay, at the point you're at in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? I mean, shoot, I already know the answer, but like, it would be nice if I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to make the kind of money you make.
I would say so.
Yeah. See, I would totally say so for that. Yeah. Well, dude, I appreciate you. Have you always lived in DC? Where are you from?
Yeah, I was born and raised in DC. And weirdest thing is I'm a musician first. So that's what I did first. So
do you sing or rap or what do you do?
I'm actually a percussionist. And so the weird thing is I had no 2.5 years ago, I had no clue that I would be in this space. But jumping in the life insurance industry has totally just changed my family's life. And we've done some remarkable things in a 2.5 year period. I'm talking like some big stuff. Like I said, I don't know if you know, but prior to COVID, I had no interest in life insurance. I just got started about 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
I have an
really?
agency of about 400 agents now.
Let's go, man. That is awesome. And actually, before I jump into that, I've got a bunch of questions that are floating around. But like, what for those that like don't know you, what did you do before? What all have you done? How did you end up here? Who were you when you were, 16, 21, 30? Like, talk me through, you and the life of Jacques Vaughan, man. What brought us to today?
Okay. So I'm gonna start at 13. I like to start at 13.
Okay.
At 13 years old, I had some friends of mine and we started a band, and we started playing and became pretty popular in the DC area as teenagers.
Mm.
And so we played music, recorded our first album. I think I was 15. Recorded our first album, and it hit the freaking Billboard charts. And what happened is I've been a musician ever since. So I never really did traditional business. I realized when I was younger that I was nobody could hire me because I wouldn't be able to work somewhere and travel and do music at the same time. So I was always self-employed. I got introduced to network marketing at an early age, became really successful at team building. So that allowed me the freedom, the time freedom through my younger adult years. As I gotten older, I was able to kind of do my own thing and play to my own beat, so to speak, literally.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much a picture of how my life was. It was, I did goofy stuff as a teenager, but as a young adult, I was blessed to be able to travel the world, see different places, doing what I love to do. But then guess what, Cody? Reality hit. I was like 50 years old. I was like, wait, I don't have any freaking retirement in place. I got to do something. So what I had done up until that point, I did some traditional business or let's say training. I started a company with some partners called I Am the CEO. And what we really did was we showed people how to transition from the employee sector into the entrepreneur sector. So probably the last 15, 20 years, that ended up being how I made my money, doing trainings, showing people, like I said, how to transition from employee to entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. And there's a lot of people that are joining this business, or they're considering this business, and they would love to transition. They think they would love, to transition
Right.
to being their own entrepreneur.
Right.
Do you think everyone could do that? Like realistically?
See, short answer is no, but I can
Yeah.
get into the why, because
Sure.
unfortunately, a lot of, let's say a majority of the people have been systematically programmed to go to school, get a job,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know what I mean? And work for 40 years, retire,
So good.
and hopefully be able to live off of that 401k and set off into the sunset. But we know that's all garbage.
That's right, man. That is garbage. Systematically, so programmed by the system, Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
good, man. You're right. It's like, hey, don't talk to strangers,
Right.
save up all your pennies,
Right.
look both ways, don't get ran over, whatever, right? Like there's all these
Right.
little sayings and phrases, and it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, like yeah, even when it comes to money, there's a lot of them,
Yes.
don't take risk. Make sure you have benefits. Like my mother-in-law even said this when we first got married, like, hey, why doesn't Cody get a real job?
Right. I experienced that through my whole life.
Yeah.
Why don't you get a real job? Why don't you get, well, like I said, I knew I was unemployable. So it became big for me to really show people that didn't have the mindset to be able to transition and put them through the process, give them the steps, the how-tos on how to transition, if that makes sense.
Yes. That makes a ton of sense. Yeah. And a lot of people that will want to, that need help with that. You mentioned network marketing. What were some things that you learned in network marketing that have helped you become who you are that you still use today?
Great question. One is the team building, of course, that I learned in network marketing.
Yeah.
The other is, if I were to have to say, just really how to process people. And when I say process people, and I learned this too, just in sales, because I've been in sales. I mean, network marketing is sales. So just really like how to approach people, how to not be so, I learned how to, at an early age, learn how to not send off the salesman alarm. You know, when you approach people, you don't like to be sold. So my big thing was, how do I approach people and that alarm not go off, but let them, or get them to put down their guard so we can have a conversation. And then I usually like to have a conversation with somebody and then figure out what their pain points are and then offer the solution. So that's something I use over here as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What were some of those things that you did well when you were approaching someone? And I'll give you a second to think, because that's like, such a big thing. I love that you're mentioning that, because like, even if I walk into, if I walk into Best Buy, hey,
Right.
hey, what, how can I help you? I'm just looking, man. I'm just shopping, like
Right.
our defenses are always up.
Yeah. Well, it really depends, because now that I'm a little more seasoned, it really depends on the climate. It depends on the situation. I really don't approach people. It's more of if a conversation takes place, if we're in line or we're talking, and it could just be a conversation. And then I may say, well, what is it that you're into? And they may start to talk to me. Hey, look, well, Cody, let me ask you this. I know we're in line right now, but would it be okay if I share some information with you and maybe perhaps show you how you might be able to triple your income by working half the time?
Yes.
It's different things like that. If I could show you how to triple your income and work 20 hours a week instead of 40, would it be okay if I share some information with you? Most people say yes. Once they open up for me to share the information, that's when I'll either send them something or just kind of have some more in-depth conversation.
Yeah. If I would, I like that. I like that you mentioned that. I'm gonna take a note for that one. I like that a lot. Okay, so you've also, in 2.5 years, you recruited over 400 agents, which is wildly impressive. How do you do that?
So I think a lot of it has to do with my network. One thing that I've been blessed with is building a huge network and being an influencer before we even started using the phrase influencer. I mean, just being in the music industry, I've met some really good people along the way. Being in network marketing, I've met some really good people along the way. Living in DC, I've met some really good people along the way. So when I got started, the weird thing, Cody, is I failed my test 6 times.
Wow.
And in the process of failing my test, the day that I got my license, I hit the top rank in my company, Experior, because I had built an agency. Already I had 50 people in my agency the day I got my license.
Wow.
So it was crazy, because everybody was like, how the hell did he get to the top of the ladder? He just got his license. Well, because I was building. And that's what I show people how to do. I show, even today, one of the things that I really stand firm on is that I'm showing agents, top producers, how to build an agency.
Yes.
Because, top producers like to produce, they like to write. But a lot of producers, I realize, they can't recruit. And if you can show somebody how to become a hybrid in this post-COVID climate, man, they're down like 4 flat tires. They're really like, well, shit, well, show me.
Yes.
So that's what I love about our company. We actually have a producer's model and a builder's model. But one of my strong points is showing how to create that hybrid. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And showing people the steps. See, the how-tos a lot of times are what's missing from a lot of the stuff that in the industry. You know, go and do an IUL or go do this or go do that. But the how-tos, you have some people that keep the how-tos close to their chest. Well, I'm showing people how to really build a big organization.
Yeah. And is that something you can help it? You can actually teach others if they're watching. They're like, man, I want to talk to this Jacques guy. I want to get to know him. I'm wanting to do something like he's talking about. You can help them with the concept.
Absolutely. And the reason is because I didn't come into the life insurance space and turned into a builder once I got into the space. I was already a builder first.
Mm.
So we have a cookie cutter, easy, simple. I mean, it's so simple. Like when people come over, they're like, bro, you all made it so simple.
That's cool.
I mean, everything from showing you how to build. And I know when you talk to Raza, one thing that probably blew a lot of people away as well. We don't buy leads over here. I'm showing my agents how to become their own so-called ad agency. So they don't have to go and spend. That's a pain point for life insurance agents. Yep. I talk to agents all the time. They're like, I didn't make a dime and they got me spending $500 a freaking week or month or whatever. And I'm not making any money.
Yeah.
So we show our agents also how not only we show them how to build, but also how not to become a lead junkie.
Yes. I like that too, man. There's a lot of agents that need help with, I mean, I think the number one reason they fail is they don't get in front of enough people, you know? So if you can show them how to do that,
that's it.
They can win. Yeah. They can win in a huge way. What if you were bragging on yourself, what have we not shared that you would like to share today? You think? What are we missing?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Yeah. If you were going to brag on yourself, what are we missing? What have we not shared? What have I not asked you? What have we not talked about? You think?
What would I brag about?
I mean, so talk about some of the numbers of production and, you know, like some, you know, if you had to flex a little bit, you know, like add some credibility and some sprinkles to the top, to on top of the cake today.
Okay. So I'm one of the first 3 shareholders in our company in the United States.
Wow.
One of my first month in the business, I did $35,000 in commission.
In your first month. And now here's the kicker. I was doing field training. So the $35,000 I had to split with the person field training me. And guess who that person was? It was Raza. See, wow. Raza I didn't know the business. I knew he knew the business. So when I talked to him, he was like, let's go, bro. My first 3 months, I did 35, 32, and I want to say $34,000 out the gate, first 3 months. Amazing.
And so that's what Raza would always say. He said, man, look, you got to go put some numbers on the board before you go talking to anybody, because nobody's going to want to listen to you unless you got some numbers to put up. So I took that. And then when I went to start talking to licensed agents, you know, the crazy part is licensed agents don't like to talk to you if you're new, especially if they're seasoned. It's like, what can you tell me?
Yeah.
So that made for more interesting conversations from those accomplishments just straight out the gate.
Totally. I mean, dude, what is that? 101K in your first 90 days?
Yes.
I mean, dude, that's freaking powerful, man. Like if you had to say, okay, here's the 3 ways or whatever the number of ways are that I was able to do 101,000 in my first 90 days.
Well, the big thing is I was blessed. It would be almost like when a person just starts driving and your first car would be a Rolls Royce. I was blessed to be taught the IUL game straight out the gate. So just knowing the IUL, I didn't know that was, because that was what I learned first.
Yes.
I didn't know that was like a big thing. I just followed the play from the coach. And so Raza would be like, hey, bro, this is what we got to do. So I was like, my coach told me the plays to run. I ran out. And because, again, I have a pretty big network, I mean, we just started frying those fish. And when I say frying those fish, I was going out talking to people, changing lives, bringing them to the table. And I was blown away because I didn't realize we were making that much money because I wasn't looking up. I didn't look up. I was just running. And then it was like, cha-ching. I was like, whoa.
That's awesome. That's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to get off to that kind of start is pretty special. Jacques, if an agent was like, dude, I like this, man. I want to learn more. I want to get in touch. I would love to do 101 grand in my first 90 days, or I'd love to recruit 400 people, or I'd love to just build a real business, and get some mentorship along the way. Can they text you, email, social? Like, what should they do? So
the easiest thing is to call or text me. So I can leave my number.
Please.
It's 202-802-8600. I always answer my phone unless I'm working. So if I don't answer the phone, I would say, leave me a text message. Let me know what it's about. You also can reach me. My email address is JJV. So that like John Victor Industries with the S at the end at Gmail.
I like it. JJV.
And if somebody wants to connect with me on Facebook, I'm on Facebook as Jacques, Jacques, and then my middle name or middle nickname, I guess, Jacques, Joc Vaughan. So it'd be Jacques Vaughan.
I love it. Dude, you're a special dude. You got a lot going on. You've achieved a ton. What advice would you give to a brand new agent that's struggling, in some parting closing words?
Depending on where they were struggling, reach out, connect with me. I'll get you out of the mud. I'll get you out of the mud. No, because agents, there are two types of agents that struggle. The ones that are really trying and just can't seem to get into and find their groove. And then there's ones that they struggle because they're not doing the right activities. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I would say just, and it's a big reflection on whoever your coach is. I think the student is a reflection of the coach. If you got a good coach that really cares about you, because there's some people out here that just care about eating off of their person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
yes, that's good. I love that advice. And there's a lot of people that probably are doing the wrong thing. They just don't know it's the wrong thing.
Exactly.
And then they they lose hope. They quit. They don't make any money. They quit. They leave. And they're like, well, it wasn't for me. Yeah. But if you would have worked, and actually like had a conversation with Jacques,
right.
maybe you would have, I think that's cool. Dude, appreciate you being on the podcast, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, man. And we'll talk soon.
Let's do it. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Jacques Vaughan. Feel free to text or email. Let him know what you're struggling with. See if he can help, man. I'm telling you what, like having a mentor, having a coach, having someone you can lean on me, right, is going to help for sure. Thanks for listening to Power Player Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode. Adios.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
I'm so excited for today's CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest. He is back on the channel talking about how to sell life insurance from home. Here's what I love about this person. Okay, I'm telling you, this will be one of the best.